Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about a pretty controversial topic, and I am pretty sure a lot of people will disagree with me. But sometimes I feel like I wanted to just keep it in with myself. But sometimes I do feel like maybe I should talk about it. To be honest with you, I feel so conflicted about it, and I'm not even that sure if I am correct. So if you guys are really expert, please let me know in the comments down below and correct me. I would love to be corrected, but so far a lot of people have been trying to correct me, but all those arguments that they mentioned have been debunked actually. So give me some interesting new perspective, I guess. Anyway, I got this Curious George doll from a claw machine in Akihabara. So I love it so much. I love Curious George, so that's why I'm like taking it with me. So, okay, the topic for today is why I don't celebrate Christmas. And I am a Christian, by the way, and a true, I guess you can say I'm a true believer because I truly believe in Christianity. It's not like, some people, they are just Christian on their identity card. They're just like, oh, I don't really believe in Jesus and all, but I'm just becoming Christian because that's my custom. Like, no, I'm not that kind of Christian. I actually truly believe in it. So the reason why I don't believe in Christmas is because I used to be same like more than half of Christians around this world who celebrates Christmas, which is, I used to be like, it's Jesus' birthday, of course we have to celebrate it, right? And I stumbled upon this church. It was a non-denominational church. And the thing about non-denominational church is that they are very heavily relying on the scriptures, which is obviously the Bible. In the beginning, there was the word. So, we have to really rely on everything with the scripture, like check with the Bible and everything. People's opinions are all over the place, but how do we know if it's true or not is by checking on the Bible. And to be honest with you, when I stumbled upon that church, like the story of how I become a true Christian, it was kind of weird. I will tell you next time if you guys are interested. But it was just weird. It feels like someone is guiding me to that place, because a lot of people, why they become Christian, especially if they are a charismatic Christian kind of church, well, then that's probably the main, or the what's mostly people have, like that's mostly their story, is that, oh, I stumbled upon this church, and this church has a really great music, it has a really great singing, we're like jumping around, we're like dancing around, it was so energetic, it was such a fun show, and that's why I become a Christian. And then they said, I felt the presence of the Lord and all that stuff. I'm not trying to discredit your experience and your belief, but my story is a little bit different. I did not actually become a Christian through a charismatic church. I did go to charismatic church at first, because charismatic church is very wide in presence, and how should I say, like they're just really affecting a lot of people. They're very easy to lure people to become a Christian, which is really good, by the way. The one thing that we really want is more and more people becoming Christian, right? So they actually did a really great job in doing that. So I was a charismatic Christian church follower at first, and then I became a non-denominational church. And I didn't actually know it was a non-denominational until I got into it. I was not even aware what is denomination, And basically the person in that non-denom church telling me that we don't have to celebrate Christmas. And I was like, I thought that was so crazy that he said that. I was like, what are you? I was like in my mind, truly, I think I'm probably same with you guys. In my mind, I was like, are you really a Christian? Because you literally just told me we don't have to celebrate Christmas. I mean, there's literally lots of people in this world celebrate Christmas. What are you talking about? Until he told me, he asked me certain questions, which got me thinking, you know. So before he asked me questions, before he told me all those things, I never realized that I never asked those questions. I don't even have answers to those questions. So question number one is, why is it December 25th? He asked me because he actually studied theology. So it's not that he's not educated or whatever. He studied theology. He is the most active member of that church, and he actually taught a lot of people about, you know, the Bible and everything. And so, I mean, honestly, he's not a bonehead. Obviously, he's actually very, very intelligent. I can't really spill his name because I mean, a lot of people might come to him and all that stuff. He also rarely tells people like, oh, I don't celebrate Christmas. I think that's the thing about people who, you know, have a pretty different belief compared to most Christians out there, is that we sometimes afraid of telling people what do we believe in, because you know, a lot of Christians will kind of judge us and be like, oh, you're not a real Christian, like what are you doing? But yeah, he basically just asked me certain questions, and I just realized that, you know what, one, I cannot answer those questions, and two, nobody told me the answers of those questions, and three, I never asked those questions anyway. So one of the question is obviously, why is it December 25th? I know there's going to be a lot of theories out there. It's still up for debate, so which I will talk about later. And second is, why is it red and green? Why, like, tell me what usually churches do when it's Christmas celebration. And I was like, oh, usually churches do like worship, and then they have like this drama, like musical drama, that portrays the birth of Jesus, you know, and then they have a gift exchange, and then they dress like, you know, red and green. They decorate the church with the pine tree, which we call Christmas tree, by the way. And then, you know, like that's what I told him. And then he was like, okay, what does any of that symbolize Christianity, you know? Oh, does that symbolize the birth of Jesus at all? And I was like, I mean, the drama plays absolutely symbolize the birthday of Jesus, and the worship session absolutely, you know, commemorates, I guess, the, you know, just Jesus existing, I guess. You know, that's the entire thing about worship, is that we worship God. We are just very happy that he existed, and he died for our sin. His love is great and eternal, like all that stuff. Like, that's the whole thing about worship. So only like the musical drama and the worship that I can find are like, they are truly representing Christianity. The rest, I'm like, that's a pretty good point. I don't really know why. And then I think the fourth question was it ever asked? Like, were we ever being asked? Can you point to me where in the Bible it says that you should all celebrate his birthday? I was like, that is also another good point. So that's probably the point that I wanted to tell you guys, is that all those 4 questions that he gave me, to be honest with you, like, I can answer some of them, but it makes me realize that, you know, Christmas celebration is not actually a Christian celebration, if that makes sense. I mean, Christmas is like, I don't know if I should say it, but, you know, I'm just gonna say it anyway. It feels more like a commercial kind of celebration. It's not really a religious celebration, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it feels more like that. So now let's talk about it. Okay, the very first one, when does it say that when is Jesus' birthday? Like, when does it say it's December 25th? And how come there's other people who celebrate on 6th of January too? So the date of when is Jesus' birthday is still up for debate. And there are a lot of theories as well. Like, some people say that, oh, it's actually because they count from his crucifixion. What's the word? Crucifixion. And then they count like 9 months before, so that was the date, and then they minus the year, so then they come up with 25th of December. And then there's also this theory that says because they see the star from the north or something, and so they kind of say that, oh, that was during winter season, so it must be around December, January, like that sort of months. But how they come up with 25th, like, why not 21st, why not 24th, but why is it 25th? That's still unknown. Like, with that theory, that is still unknown. And then there's also another theory, which kind of, in my opinion, okay, I know some of you guys are like disagree with it, but to me it makes sense, which is that it is kind of coincide with a pagan celebration. It's called Yule. Yule. I don't really know how to spell it. Okay, but when I read about Yule, I was like, really? To be honest with you, I just kind of disbelief when I know about that. So I was just Googling around, and then I bumped into this tradition from the pagan called Yule. And then I Googled it and I was like, wait, like, this celebration of Yule is like really, really same with Christmas. So, and it actually answers a lot of the questions about like our tradition in Christmas. Like, for example, why is it using pine tree? I don't know, I haven't really researched into it, but I don't think pine tree has any significance to the birth of Jesus. But pine tree does have significance in the pagan, which is that I think Yule, correct me if I'm wrong, I read this quite a while ago and my memory is really bad. Yule is more like a celebration to celebrate the sun being out again, because I think like long time ago the sun was like out only for a very short while, and then they were like panicking, like, oh my god, why is the sun out for just a short while? And then on 25th, actually the sun is out like for the first time in several days. The sun was out in winter. The sun is appearing for a long time, so they kind of just celebrate it. And then they celebrate like the new, how should I say, then I guess the new life during the winter. So the pine tree is actually about the new life in the winter, because I think pine tree, which we call Christmas tree, they kind of become alive during winter season, so they use the pine tree to celebrate that. And so now that you think about it, like, what does pine tree have anything to do with Jesus? Actually none. It's more like about they're just happy that sun is out for a long time, and the only tree that kind of becomes alive during winter is pine tree. And then in Yule, I also read about mistletoe. I was like, oh, mistletoe? That is so Christmas. So I was like, oh, so that's where mistletoe come from. I actually really have no idea, because I read the book of Luke and Matthew, and I was like, there's really not like a clue. There's not really like a mention about mistletoe, pine tree, and all that stuff. I mean, they talk about baby Jesus being wrapped in cloth, but like they're not really mentioning the tree, the mistletoe. So I don't really know where do they come from. And then when I read about you, I was like, wait, that's where it come from. Like, that is so weird. I mean, honestly, like, again, I said, this is all just like a debate, you know. So some people like, oh, that's not true. Yule is not where Christmas come from, because you know, the German don't really have influence in the bishop, and the bishop can't influence people. But I feel like that, in my opinion, I disagree with that argument, because I feel like, why is it December 25th? There's gotta be someone that influenced that. And like, what better way to say that the Romans and the Germans actually influence us a lot. So I read about this thing that why is it that they want the day of Yule to be the day of when Jesus was born, is because they wanted to integrate with the pagan holiday and pagan celebration, so that it can be widely accepted by the pagans. So I was like, you know, that's kind of a good point. I feel like that makes sense. And like, it's just a lot of things in the Yule that there's actually same with Christmas. Like, they have a feast together, they all eat, they all party, and well, back then, you know, they're all partying in the bonfire. Sometimes I guess in the Christmas celebration they still like light up the firewood and everything. So I mean, it's still like that part is still kind of the same. But my suggestion to you guys is read about Yule, and you will see there's a lot of similarities between that and Christmas celebration. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, to me it's just kind of like, I don't know, to me it's just icky, like when I read that our Christmas celebration is pretty much same with the pagan celebration. But yeah, that's just one point. That is just one point. And so the debate of 25th of December, why is it 25th of December, that is still up there. But what I wanted to really like highlight here is that there's no mention in the Bible when is it, and there's also no mention in the Bible that you must celebrate his birthday. There is no mention. So the way I kind of tie them to is that if Jesus' birthday is very, very important, that we must celebrate it, and that I am damned, me as a non-believer of Christmas, if I am damned because I don't celebrate his birthday, then the Bible should really tell us when should we celebrate his birthday. The Bible should explicitly tell us that we must celebrate his birthday. But there are a lot of things that in the Bible told us explicitly to do. Like, for example, respect the Sabbath day. We must worship God. We must pray. And when do we must pray? Every day, all the time. Pray all the time. It's like, the pattern that I see with the Bible is that if they tell you to do something on certain time, they will tell you when is it. They will tell you explicitly, you must do this, and then they will tell you when should you do this. But for Jesus' birthday, there is minimal mention. It almost feel like Jesus' birthday is, I mean, it is important because of course he must be born, then only he can die and resurrect. But it's just not that important compared to his death and resurrection. His death and resurrection is really mentioned very explicitly that we must remember. We must memorize it. Okay, so it's like, I don't know, to me, the fact that it was never mentioned in the Bible, like you must do it and when to do it, that kind of gives me this message that maybe we shouldn't do it. It's okay. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It's not that we should not do it, but there is this verse, I think it was in Romans, that says that if you want to celebrate this festive for the glory of God, like you can do it. If you don't want to do it, that's also okay. So in my opinion, like from that scripture alone, I just feel like if you guys want to celebrate Jesus' birthday, that is absolutely fine. But if you don't want to celebrate, that is also fine. But here's my problem with Christmas. Bear with me, guys. So again, to maybe complete all the questions beforehand, why is it red and green? Honestly, there's also a lot of theories, there's a lot of debates on why is it red and green. Some people will say, oh, red is because it's a color of joy, you know, because it is mentioned in the Bible that you must be we must fill with joy, because it is such a joy that he was born. It is true, we must all be happy that he was born. But should we celebrate every year? That's probably something that is very debatable, and I am on the belief of that maybe we should not. And here's the reason why I don't actually celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas because there, again, like I said, if you want to celebrate, that's fine. If you don't want to celebrate, that's fine too. But the reason why I have a problem that a lot of churches celebrate Christmas is the way they celebrate Christmas. So I would be absolutely fine if they held an extra Sunday sermon, but it's on 25th of December. Like, totally fine. We should all go to the church as often as possible. We should all be educated and about the word of God, and we should all be worshiping God as often as we can. But usually on Christmas celebration, they're not really doing that. Maybe they do like a bit of portion of that, but they do a lot of other things that are just, in my opinion, it's not very Christian to do. So number one, of course, why put a huge Christmas tree? Why put a huge pine tree when it has nothing to do with Jesus? That's probably my number one question. And why do they decorate it in red and green? So one of the reason why it was red and green, upon my research, correct me if I'm wrong again, is that actually it was based on a very popular ad from Coca-Cola. So originally Santa Claus was blue color, but you know, the ad agency that was doing Coca-Cola's ad was like, oh, it's so sad, like it should be such a merry holiday, so it should be a joyous holiday. And so they use Coca-Cola's color, which is red, and the opposite of red is actually, like, the color contrast of red is actually green, so they just frame it with green, and there you go. And then the ad just went very, very popular, and everyone has been associating red and green up until now. So that was one of the reason why they use red and green. So to me, I just feel like why is it that they are celebrating Christmas, but it's not really much about Jesus? Because they put a huge pine tree, they do this gift exchange, they do all this sort of like I don't know, like drama musical, they do a lot of big huge shows. To be honest with you, like for example, in my country there are some charismatic church that they put like really spectacular light show during Christmas celebration. And I'm not talking about just one church doing that, there's a lot of churches doing that. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I really do not want the worship session to be anywhere near entertainment kind of show, like spectacular show, because I just feel like it was never really mentioned in the Bible that you should make such spectacular show for Jesus. I mean, it did say that we should worship our God, but we worship by making melodies, you know. So I am still on the fence of whether or not using musical instruments during worship is fine, or I'm still on the fence. I really don't know about that, to be honest with you. But to have like spectacular shows, there's like acrobats. You guys have definitely seen like in TikTok there's like some church in, I think in US, they have like acrobats during the Christmas celebration. And I was like, I just feel like this is how I feel. I think the worship sessions should be as holy as possible. It should never go near entertainment shows, if that makes sense. So sometimes I can see why some denominational church will say musical instruments should not be allowed, because now that I see churches that are using musical instruments during worship, they're making they're kind of using musical instruments to make a really huge show out of worship session. Like, worship should be personal. I think it should be personal, it should be holy, it should be kept holy, because there was this verse in the Bible where I think Jesus was angry because the house of God was used as a business place. And so I think, like, even for business, that's not okay, and let alone like you use it for entertainment shows that kind of resembles the discotheque, that kind of resembles the club. I just do not want the church to be associated with that. I just do not want churches to be like, oh, I went to this church and then we have this Christmas celebration and everyone was dancing, the light was spectacular, they have acrobats everywhere, and then it's just like, when they describe it, it totally resembles the club. I don't know about you, but I do not like it when churches are going to that direction. And so that's the reason why I said, if you are celebrating 25th of December by actually going to the church, have a peaceful day, you worship personally, you worship in all seriousness, like there's no spectacular light shows and everything, and then you also learn about the Bible as well. So you have this one additional day in the week that you learn the Bible and worship God. I think that is perfectly fine. But if you go to the church on 25th of December just to watch this spectacular show of lights, just to watch a musical drama, just to watch some drama about how Jesus was born, which was like maybe played thousands of times every year, they play that drama, like how Jesus was born. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes I just feel like those dramas, they don't really make people kind of like, oh, glory to be God, because drama where they portray the birth of Jesus is kind of feels like it's not really that much glorifying Jesus. It's more like glorifying like the production team or the actors and actresses. Is like, oh, look at us, we're yay, we're a good actress, we're good actors, it's a great production team, costume designer was great and everything. To me, it feels more like that. It feels more like, look at me kind of thing. But you know what, I could be wrong on that drama kind of thing. But then again, I don't think it was ever mentioned in the Bible that you must commemorate his birthday by having a drama. But I don't know, you know what, then again, I might be wrong. I just do not really want like, this is the reason why I don't really want churches to do things that are not really mentioned in the Bible, is that a lot of people will have different ideas, right? Like they will have, oh, why don't we make a drama, why don't we make a musical drama, why don't we make a this and that and this and that. Like, worshiping is absolutely fine, learning about the Word of God is absolutely fine. Like, we just need to really strengthen our relationship with God, and usually church, like Sunday sermon, really can do that for you. So all these three is absolutely fine. Giving charity to the church is absolutely fine too. Like, you give offerings to the church, that is absolutely fine too. But having drama, creating a movie, like short movie, having an acrobatic light show and everything, like those are all like human ideas, and it's like, I just don't really know that we should do that, because it feels like the more we stray away from what's being told in the Bible, the more we resembles, again, like I said, the club. you know I just feel icky when a church is doing something that resembles the club. So I do stay away from charismatic church, unfortunately. I know that they will say that, oh, we gotta have fun, you know, like we're saved, we need to be joyous, we need to. It's true that you need to be joyous, but being joyous and looking like a club is a completely different thing. Making the house of God looking like a club, that's an entirely different thing. And to be honest, this doesn't sit right with me. So here you go. I don't have any credentials, by the way. I am not studying theology. I just have interest in all these things. Anyways, I'm just trying to tell you guys this because it's almost Christmas time. Again, I truly believe Jesus was born at some point, but I don't really want to point out like which date was it, because honestly, the Bible tells us to commemorate his death and resurrection. And honestly, I feel like the whole time he was living by example. He was spreading knowledge everywhere. He was being courageous. He defeated Satan and everything. Like I feel like it's way more important to commemorate the whole time he was living, and his death and then his resurrection, because I feel like those are really, really magical events. Now, I'm not downplaying his birth, because obviously that is magical events too. Just remember something that the person who asked me those questions kind of told me. So he said that a lot of the traditions, a lot of the things that we do during Christmas, all those traditions that we call Christmas traditions, don't they feel sort of commercial? And I was like, let me think about that. Like, what do we do during Christmas? Okay, pine tree, decorating, we eat together, and then we exchange gifts and all that stuff. I was like, I don't know. I guess it does feel commercial. And well, he gave me, well, I guess it's his opinion, is that he said that actually Christmas was created by humans for commercial purposes. And I was like, that is actually, I mean, honestly, I'm leaning to agreeing with him, because all the proof that I got is that Christmas is a pretty commercial kind of celebration, don't it? It's like you go to shopping mall and then they say Christmas, it's Christmas sale. What do they sell on Christmas? Christmas gifts. I was like, you know what? At first, I disagree with him, because hey, at least on that one day everyone knows about Jesus, right? But actually, it's not really what's happening, because on Christmas Day, malls have sales. They sell Christmas gifts. They sell Santa Claus decoration. I mean, if Christmas is really about the birth of Jesus, why don't they, why don't they all sell like the cross, or maybe, I don't know, like the diorama of the birth of Jesus. I mean, I've seen those several times, but most of the times people do be selling Santa Claus as the decoration. Santa Claus, why do they sell a pine tree? Why do they sell, I don't know, just I guess everything besides the importance, which is the birth of Jesus. So like I said, at first I wanted to disagree with them, because I thought, hey, at least there's one day that people all go to the church, and like at least they go to the church. But he kind of opposed my opinion and said that, okay, they did all go to the church. That one day of the entire day they go to the church. Let's just say if Christmas never existed, there's no Christmas, there's no 25th of December. Let's just imagine that. Do you think people will absolutely never go to the church, or will people actually go to the church more often? Like, instead of finding reasons to go to the church just one time of the year, would they actually go to the church more often? And I was like, that's a pretty good point. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know, because I guess here's the thing. I do know that a lot of people who go to the church maybe once a year because of Christmas, I think I know that the reason why they go to the church is not really because of Jesus. It's more like for the celebration. And so that kind of shapes my my point of view to that. You know what, if let's just say there's no Christmas day at all, there's no 25th of December, and the people that only go to the church once a year, maybe they will not go to the church at all, but it's because they don't have the calling at all. They just don't feel the calling. They're not answering the calling. And like, it's just sad. I feel like this is kind of what God wants us to do, is that we need to answer the calling. And we need to answer the calling by going to the church. Like, he kind of invites us to his house, like, go to the church, come on, let's go to the church every Sunday, go to the church. But we kind of like, I don't wanna, like, I just go during Christmas. Like, sometimes, be honest, like, sometimes there are people who do that, right? I'm proud to say I'm not that kind of person. In fact, I actually do not go to the church on Christmas Day, because again, to me, it's just not really, I'm just not really agreeing with it. And number two, Christmas Day on church is the crowdest ever. And like I said, I don't really feel like there's worship, and the worship is less compared to the regular Sunday service. But on Christmas Day there is still, like, sermon, but it's just a lot lesser because they have to squeeze the time, and so the gospel time is like getting reduced, but the show time is getting increased. And so and then on Christmas Day there is no Holy Communion, so I just feel like, well, why should I go, again, that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people will oppose me on this one, and a lot of people will scrutinize me, especially people who just feel like, what, you're not a real Christian because you did not celebrate Christmas. Well then again, tell me when in the Bible is being told that I must celebrate his birthday. I always remember his death and resurrection, his sacrifice for us, for our sin. But it's just that, and I just feel like that's enough, because that's what being told in the Bible. Like, we must always remember his sacrifice for us, his love for us. We must always remember that. Like, I think I've done that part, and since celebrating his birthday was not mentioned at all, I'm not doing that. And I mean, great, if you want to celebrate, great. I mean, I guess I can call him my friend. My friend in the previous church, the one who, challenged me about this Christmas thing, he kind of tell me that a lot of people during Christmas, they buy a bunch of stuff. So it does make sense, like in my head, like it does make sense that Christmas was created to kind of boost commercialism, because it is true, during Christmas we buy a lot of stuff. We either buy Christmas gift, we either buy Christmas card, we either buy new decorations for our home. To be honest with you, I rarely heard people be reusing the same things for Christmas this year, next year, and the next year. I kind of rarely do that. I kind of rarely heard people do that. Like, most of the time I heard people, they be like, oh, I'm celebrating Christmas, I bought new clothes for Christmas, I organized this play on Christmas. Like, that's also another thing that I kind of think about. Like, this is again just my opinion, by the way, do not scrutinize me, or do, I don't know, I guess. What really kind of got me thinking is that, some people, they become the production, like part of the production team to organize Christmas celebration in their church. And I just feel like they are really exhausted. They're very exhausted, and then there's, not to mention, a lot of problem that arose during the Christmas celebration in that church. And I just feel like for something that we don't really have to celebrate, you are definitely making a ton of effort by the way. And I just feel like, all those effort maybe can be diverse and be used to spread the word of God on your daily life. I don't know, just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Because I saw how, all these people who are like the part of organizing team for Christmas celebration, I saw how like exhausted they are. I saw how stressed they are. And I just feel like that's kind of an unnecessary kind of stress. Yeah. But then again, if they have, spread the word of God every day in their life, that's great. And I just feel like maybe on Christmas Day you should take a break by not celebrating it, by not buying, Christmas present, by not buying new clothes, oh, by the way, I'm wearing red, which is like so, to be honest, I do not plan to wear red at all. I know like red is like the Christmas color, but I really have no plan on wearing red. Pure organic coincidence. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. For me, the one that nailed it down is how it was not mentioned in the church that we must celebrate it, and it was never mentioned when. There are clues, but it was never mentioned when. And I just feel like when people are like, oh, 9 months, when we can just calculate 9 months and then minus the birth year. And I just feel like, I don't know about that. I mean, sometimes some women's pregnancy is not exactly 9 months. So what do you make of that? Like sometimes women's pregnancy can be like 8 months and 29 days, or 8 months and 28 days. Like we never really know. And not to mention all the unnecessary controversy that caused by this whole Christmas thing. Like a lot of people have been debating, why is it on 25th of December? Should we celebrate, yes or no? Like a lot of people have been debating about it. And I just feel like if Christmas Christmas Day was never exist. What I'm saying Christmas Day never exists, it's just 25th of December never exists. Like this whole celebration never exists. I think the world would be so much more peaceful, because they're like, oh yeah, we don't really know when was Jesus' birthday. He was born, he was indeed born, but we don't really know when. And there was never mention if we should celebrate it. Like I think all Christians around this world would be having less headache, would be involving in less controversy and debates. That's all I'm saying, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's a pretty long rant, but I just feel like sometimes I'm kind of quiet about my religion, and which is the reason why lately I've been wanting to talk about it a bit more. I'll talk about more Christian topics if you guys like it, or don't. I will talk about it anyway, if I feel like it. To be honest, sometimes my inspiration just kind of come in and or not. But yeah, I try to talk about Christian topics as much as possible. I wanted to spark conversation, and maybe in the future I will talk about tithe. Should you or should you not tithe? Like maybe that would be a pretty interesting topic to talk about. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.